What's good, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to another episode of the NFL show. And quite frankly, it was a weekend of surprises, to say the very least. A lot of shocking things went down, and to be honest, didn't expect it to go down like this. But let's start over here. Let's start with, I would say, the least shocking result, which was the Chiefs beating the Texans by 20 at home. The Chiefs did everything they needed to do. Offense clicked on both sides of the ball. They gave up 21 points, though, in the first quarter. Like, they were essentially down by 21 points, but then they stormed back to put up 28 in the second and essentially just closed out from there, putting up 13 and 10 points in the third and fourth quarters, respectively, to close out the game. It was the type of performance the Chiefs needed to prove that they're still the monster in the AFC that they were last year and the year before. Quite frankly, it was a dominant performance. Once they gave up the 21 points and they woke up and put up 28 in the second quarter, it was pretty much over from there, to be honest with you, because the Texans could only put up a field goal, a touchdown, and couldn't even put up a single point in the fourth quarter. So, the type of performance that the Chiefs needed. The Packers get a big win at home against the Seahawks, 28-23. I know the score is close, but this was mainly a Packers game right here. The Packers were in control for most of the game. The Seahawks did storm back in the third quarter, but despite the fact that the Packers didn't even score in the fourth, they did enough to game manage and control the comeback and slow down the comeback of Russell Wilson and the Seahawks to get a big win in the divisional round, a win that they needed to once again show that they are a monster in the NFC, considering the fact that teams like the Saints and the Vikings are out, and some of the other powerful teams in the division are out. But there's still one that remains, and that is the 49ers beating the Vikings 27-10. This pretty much was a dominant victory by the 49ers. They showed that, despite having a bye week, they didn't have any rust, they didn't have any slowdown, they didn't keep their eye off the prize. They were locked in, focused, and dominated the Vikings from the very beginning. The Vikings made it close in the first quarter, but as the game progressed, the 49ers found their rhythm, and Garoppolo was able to manage yet another good game, and only threw one pick, which I think was like earlier in the game, but for the most part he did good. Even though Cousins threw for more yards than Garoppolo and essentially had the same numbers, a touchdown and a pick, it just wasn't enough. Couldn't get in the end zone. Couldn't get the running game going. Dalvin Cook only ran for 18 yards on 9 carries, which is ridiculous. The man needed to run the ball more. But nonetheless, 49ers move on to the NFC Championship game, where they will meet the Packers. And in the upset of the weekend, the Titans defeat the Ravens at home in a game where it was pretty much tailor-made for the Ravens to win, yet they don't. They don't run the ball. They didn't run the ball enough. Jackson went through 1 touchdown and threw 2 picks, and he ran for 143 yards, but it didn't mean anything. Mark Ingram, being injured, didn't run a lot. Gus Edwards didn't get a lot of carries, which is shocking to me, considering the fact that he's actually been a bit more of a workhorse out of all the running backs. But nonetheless, he didn't get any carries. There were a lot of drop passes on the part of the Ravens offense, and the defense just came out flat. They couldn't stop anybody. They could not really stop Derrick Henry at all. Like they held Tannehill to under 100 yards passing, but Derrick Henry ran for almost 200 yards. He was 5 yards away from 200. Essentially put the game on his back, put the team on his back, and won the game for the Titans. It was a dominant performance on the road, a shocking victory, shocking defeat for the Ravens. One hell of a way to end the season. Very disappointing, considering they had the first round bye, and essentially what looked to be an easy path to the Super Bowl is now essentially gone. So 14-2 for the Ravens, down the drain. Damn shame. They let a 9-7 team skull drag them at home. That is some embarrassing shit right there. I'm not even going to sugarcoat it. That is pretty embarrassing. But folks, moving on to next week. We have our AFC and NFC championship games set. First game on Sunday is going to be the Chiefs and the Titans. This is going to be in Kansas City. The Chiefs, on paper, are the better team. we pretty much know the keys to victory for the Titans here. Derrick Henry's going to have another monster performance because Tannehill, he's a good game manager, but he's not going to be Tom Brady in the playoffs. You know what I mean? He's not going to be the clutch quarterback that a lot of people want him to be, and as a result, they're going to have to rely heavily on the run game as well as rely heavily on the defense to close it out. So I think the Chiefs, with their offensive weapons and with their defense finally stepping up, I think this is yet another dominant home victory for them, and they will be headed to the Super Bowl. And on the other side of the bracket, in the NFC Championship game at 6:40 on Fox, the Packers and 49ers will square off in San Francisco. I like the Packers a lot, but I gotta be honest, they're not the same team that they used to be in years past. They're not the same team that they were when they defeated the Steelers in the Super Bowl, you know? Aaron Rodgers is amazing. He's a miracle man. He's thrown for well over 4,000 yards up until this point. And Jones, as far as being a running back, he's definitely the better running back here. He's been carrying the offense on his back when Rodgers has a slow day or a bad day. And that defense has shown up when they need to, but I think this 49ers team is too high-powered on offense in terms of their running game. Garoppolo is he's a better game manager a little bit at this point, but Rodgers will probably have the better day throwing. So I expect the 49ers to get it done on the ground because Garoppolo is not going to outthrow Aaron Rodgers unless Rodgers just comes out completely flat. And as far as the defense goes, the 49ers have a better defense, so the matchup to see is Aaron Rodgers against that 49ers defense. If he can get past that defense, if he can put some points up on the board, then it's going to be difficult for Jimmy Garoppolo to keep up. But if the 49ers defense can slow down Aaron Rodgers, keep him out the end zone, hold the Packers to some field goals, then it's going to be a close game, and the Packers are going to find themselves in a bit of a battle. So in this one, I'm going to pick the 49ers. I think the Chiefs and 49ers are going to meet in the Super Bowl in Miami. That's going to be a hell of a matchup if it happens. But folks, I want to thank you all for tuning in. And as you all know, next week I will be here to to wrap up what happens in the conference championships. And I will give you guys a Super Bowl preview. And maybe glance over the Pro Bowl. Of course, nobody watches that. I know I'm not going to watch it, but next week I'll definitely wrap up the conference title games, and I will give you guys an extended Super Bowl preview. So enjoy all of the games this weekend, both games this weekend, and I will see you all next week. I am officially out.